Welcome to SAT TV News. I am Shanna Esprit, your presenter. Among the major developments, Dominican on quest for establishment of Bail Act, Turks and Caicos in damage control mode after tourist arrest, Cleveland police set to interview women's kidnappers, and in sports, Adrian Barath to participate in regional 4-day tournament. Details of this will follow. SAT Telecommunications Limited is celebrating with mothers from Saturday, May 4th to Saturday, May 11th. All mothers applying for any of SAT services will receive a free installation. All applicants will be eligible to enter into SAT's draw for a Mother's Day gift basket compliments SAT Telecoms. Please call or visit any of SAT offices for more information. Special terms and conditions apply. Remember, SAT Telecoms is the people's choice and SATnet a better choice. Happy Mother's Day from SAT Telecommunications Limited.
Yo, this is Ace Banton in SAT building, baby. You're watching SAT Telecom, that's the #1 choice. Boom!
Welcome back. Activities for Nurses Week of the Dominican Nurses Association for 2013 began with a church service at the St. Alphonsus Roman Catholic Church on Tuesday, May 8th. The service was well attended by nurses throughout Dominica, including the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health, Helen Roy. During the week of activities, recognition is being given to the founder of the nursing profession, Florence Nightingale. The theme for this year's celebration is Closing the Gap, Parenting to Save Lives of Mothers and Infants. Nursing is often described as an art and a science. It is a profession that embraces dedicated people with varied interests, strengths, and passions because of the many opportunities the profession offers. It influences the lives of each individual from conception to death. Nurses work in emergency rooms, school-based clinics, and homeless shelters, to name a few. Some of their roles include staff nurse, educator, practitioner, and nurse researcher. All are served with a passion for the profession and maintain a strong commitment to patient safety. The Ministry of Health is reminding the public that nursing is a very caring profession. In other stories, in an effort to recognize the workers in our community, the management and staff of the Little Gem Preparatory School hosted a Community Workers' Day on Friday, May 3rd. Senior teacher at the school, Miss Georgia De Verera, stated the event featured students and teachers portraying various careers in the community.
So in my background, you can see our different community workers. We have the doctors, we have the nurses, we have the firemen, we even have the teachers, we have the SSU, and we have a nurse.
So how did the idea come about?
Well, the idea came about between our staff, the principal, Ms. Difo, Ms. Xavier, and Ms. Lee. We sat and we realized that we cannot just sit in a classroom and show pictures. We realized that children, we can show it off differently. So we said, instead of just saying, okay, here's a picture of a nurse or here's a picture of a doctor, why wait for Career Day when we can bring it out by just using community workers and allowing the children to recognize their people, their everyday people will be passing by, to recognize them as people special, just like me and you.
Ms. De Rivera added this was very important for the students to truly understand the importance of the occupation the various community workers carry out on a daily basis. She said the children were very excited as they were afforded with the opportunity to role play, which was outside of their regular routine. The senior teacher also mentioned that this is something they will continue to do in the future.
Because children, they learn through play. They don't learn really through just pictures all the time, so we'll always continue it. And even this month, we are recognizing Transportation Month, where we'll go visit different places like the airports. We'll take a ride on the train, land, air, and sea. We'll be covering up those type of things, doing it by going out and just, showing the children a better way in learning by exploring.
She added the school will host a graduation ceremony for the senior students who will move on to a higher level of education. Ms. De Rivera shared a special message to parents.
That allow children to be children. Allow children to explore. Not exploring by reaching just by the fence, but exploring by reaching in front of the fence. Not by just showing, this is a nurse. You can buy a little cloth and just dress her as a nurse and she can play make-believe at home. You don't have to be at school all the time. We can do it at home and allow children to just climb up the ladder and just be what they have to be when they grow up.
The school currently has 42 students enrolled.
Tourism is very important, not only to the world economy, but more particularly to Dominica's economy. Tourism is the pillar upon which the economy sits right now. As Mr. Piper told you, tourism is responsible for close to 4,000 jobs in Dominica. So most of the chalk that is placed at your schools, on your blackboards, most of the benches, most of the medicines in the hospitals, how the roads are fixed, everything in Dominica really benefits from tourism. The dollar that the tourist spends filters right through the economy, and that is the importance of tourism.
These were the words of Honorable Ian Douglas, Minister for Tourism and Legal Affairs, emphasizing the importance of tourism in Dominica. Mr. Douglas said approximately $300 million in Dominica's economy is circulated because of the tourism industry.
Tourism is about everything that we do. Dominica itself is a tourism destination, and everything that we do, everything about us, the way that we behave, the way that we interact with our environment, should have tourism in mind. We should bear certain key issues in mind when we go about our daily business, because everything that happens in Dominica affects tourism.
He said the cleanliness of our communities and our beautiful surroundings is very important to the industry. Honorable Douglas highlighted the competitiveness of the tourism industry, stating that most countries in the world today are dependent on tourism for generating income.
If we do not present the best possible destination we can, then we will not be able to attract visitors. Because today, in the world of the internet, persons have a wide choice of where to go for a vacation. And so when they go on the internet and they research your destination, it must be the best destination. But it can only be the best destination based on what we do on the ground, how we present Dominica, and how we take care of what we have. And it is not enough just to depend on the geographical and God-given attributes that we have been given.
Customer service also plays a very important role in tourism. Therefore, students should be made aware of this at a tender age. Values can also be instilled to further enhance our industry in the future. He urged the secondary school students to understand the role and importance of the tourism sector, noting that it provides opportunities for numerous careers.
I want you to know that you are ambassadors for tourism in Dominica, not only in Dominica nationally among your peers, but you can be international ambassadors for Dominica. Today, we live in the internet age, we live in the electronic age, and I know a lot of you are internet and electronic savvy and computer savvy. You have Facebook accounts, you have all of these social medias, you know how to navigate your way through it. So I want you to use those mediums to propagate and to promote the destination and to promote all of the things that we have to offer in Dominica.
In other stories, one concerned Dominican is appealing to the relevant authorities to establish a bail act in the nature island of the Caribbean, Dominica. Mr. Dean Roll stated that he would like to see this act become a reality, as too many times we see accused criminals such as murderers, rapists, and kidnappers are granted bail. This puts them back on the streets with the same people they have harmed or families they have destroyed.
Sometimes they're back on the street to further their crimes, or they have the opportunity to interfere with witnesses. And we hear the prosecution lament the fact that there's nothing that they can do. However, nothing is being done to ensure that the accused murderers or serious offenders stay behind bars until the trial, unless there are special circumstances which would allow them to get bail. We have instances in Dominica where people have been given bail and they reoffend, and some of them not just once.
Mr. Rule specified this is a cause for concern for him and all other citizens of Dominican. He stressed that many people voice their concerns in private circles, which cannot be heard to influence actions against this act.
These situations put a lot of fear in people in the country. A lot of fear. You walk in the supermarket and this accused murderer is shopping next to you. You're in Carnival and this accused murderer or kidnapper is next to you. You're in your local bar and these people are next to you, and you don't feel comfortable about it. We don't feel comfortable about it as citizens. However, we don't do anything about it. We do not protest. We do not lobby our government representatives to do anything about it. And these are serious concerns in the country. It's very serious, and in an atmosphere of fear, people don't function as they should.
Mr. Rose said we have citizens of Dominica need to explore the power of speech so we can join forces to initiate change for the better.
I am looking forward to getting the support. I'm not looking to be in the forefront of this because I'm a very private individual who don't like to be in the forefront. So I'm looking for like-minded individuals to come forward, and we as citizens can do something about it. We can get together and get change. There's a web page on Facebook. It's Dominica Bail Act Now. There's also an email address. It's bailactda@gmail.com. So there's the contact information. And I can also be contacted on 614-3523 for anyone who want to join in that cause.
With that support, Mr. Rose says the issue of bail can be highlighted to obtain the necessary attention it deserves in the hope of a bail act being implemented. In regards to this, former State Attorney Clement Joseph, who worked in the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, noted that enacting a bail act and appointing more magistrates will address the delivery of justice on the island. Mr. Joseph mentioned if it was up to him, he would immediately enact a bail act because there are too many inconsistencies in the standards of bail. He noted a bail act would set clear conditions under which an accused person is entitled to bail, and every judicial officer would know the exact conditions on determining bail. In other news, newly appointed General Manager of the Aid Bank, Mr. Julius Corbett, has had his eyes set on the way forward for the institution. In an exclusive interview with SAT TV's news dealing with delinquent accounts, the agricultural sector and the small business environment are some of the areas which he intends to focus on.
The bank is supposedly the engineer of growth. Development banks supposed to be the engineer of growth for most developing countries. This institution has been historically been delivering a lot of services to Dominicans. What I really want to do is to take it to the next level. And in so doing, I'd like to concentrate a lot on what is happening in terms of economic development. And there's a big thrust right now on tourism, on agriculture, and light manufacturing, and education. And I'm hoping that I can continue what the bank has been doing historically.
Mr. Corbett said in dealing with delinquency at the institution, he will work on improving the asset quality while brainstorming various innovative ways to resolve the issue which plagues even the most successful banks in developed countries. For the past 40 years, this bank has been the glimmer of hope for Dominicans, and I am hoping that for the next 40 years it will survive the signs of time. My goal, therefore, is to make it the primary financial institution in Dominica in terms of economic development, said Mr. Corbett.
The way I like to do it is to make sure that, one, we become very liquid and that the government does not have to give us as much support as they have historically been doing. We want to be able to grow organically. That is to say, we want to ensure we cover all our debts and minimize our costs, and put the bank in a position where we are very solid, increases liquidity position, and at the same time, make it a place where Dominicans can be very proud of doing business.
Mr. Corbett noted the attitude of many persons that the bank is to borrow money from and they have no obligation to repay is one that needs to change immediately. Borrowers need to know that if the institution lends them money, they are expected to repay. If this is not honored, we will use every means possible to acquire every cent owed. He said the public needs to understand the importance of repayment. Without it, the bank will not earn the money needed for progress and development.
And my goal is to go out there, knock on doors, make phone calls, visit people, and let them know that this really is not business as usual. We want to be able to make, to ensure that the bank is stable as a financial institution and respected. Dominica needs financing, and we all have to work together to ensure that we Dominicans understand and appreciate the importance that this bank has played in the past, and that we must tell ourselves and be a little more responsible in ensuring that we need to go out there and service the debt as agreed. If not, we are always in this position where we may not be able to do the things we really want to do.
Mr. Corbett says under his management, the Aid Bank will work to advance Dominica's economy in areas of tourism, agriculture, and technology. The new general manager of the Aid Bank noted he always wanted the opportunity to serve his country and is deeply humbled and honored to be afforded the opportunity by the government of Dominica. In other stories, on Wednesday, May 8th, the Fire Services Department launched a fire safety visual program at the Little Den Preschool in Roseau. Public Relations Officer of Fire Services, Mr. Wayne Leta, said the program was created by the Fire Prevention Unit. The program began with a video presentation inside the classroom where several safety measures were demonstrated. It depicted how easily a fire can transpire.
And what we're going to do here now, it's another invention by the fire department, and what it talks about is the effect of a spark on unleaded fuel. And we know that a lot of people have concerns about the use of unleaded fuel and how they store it and so on. And we want to show that a spark can start a fire. And in this case, what we're demonstrating also is that the spark is not actually into the fuel, but above the fuel, because unleaded fuel has what we call a flash point, and that flash point is where it gives off the vapor which ignites, and that's at minus 45 degrees. So we are showing that also. And also that electricity occurs when a telephone is used, a cell phone. So that issue of using the cell phone at a gas station, a fuel station. So all these we are trying to demonstrate there this morning. And we're going to show the children how to use an extinguisher at the same time.
We present a live demonstration of how the use of a cell phone can start a fire.
Using the extinguisher, the fire officer extinguishes the fire. Very good.
Mr. Leta explains what occurred throughout the demonstration.
So at minus 45 degrees, unleaded fuel will provide that vapor, and we did not have to put the spark into the fuel. but just above the fuel where the vapor is, and it lights. And we're trying to also demonstrate that with the use of the cell phone, that spark was created. So a lot of people say that usually when you go to the gas station, you see the signs, no cell phones. It is a potential damage using cell phone at a gas station. Because think of the little amount of fuel, just about half a liter of fuel that was pouring that. But at a gas station, you have like 3,000 gallons. So the intensity of the vapor is more available. And one of the things that we know in fire safety is that vapor of the unleaded fuel can travel to the source of ignition. And the source of ignition can be heat, can be a spark, can be friction. And something that often happens at gas station when people move is friction. Movement of the keys on your cell phone, that's friction also. So at a gas station, you can have that amount of vapor available to go to that ignition source, and then you can have fire.
So essentially what we saw here can happen at a gas station?
It can happen. And I remember some time ago, Mythbusters had it, and they said some 0.001% that it happened. That's the 0.001%.
Along with his team, Mr. Later informs the public that a fire can begin from a simple use of a cell phone. A one-day seminar on road safety will be convened at the Prevost Cinemall tomorrow, Thursday 9th, between 9 a.m. and 12:30 p.m. It is part of a week of activities organized by stakeholders that will seek to draw attention to the urgent need to better protect pedestrians worldwide and generate action on measures needed to do so. Alison Samuel, health educator in the Ministry of Health, speaks on some of the issues that will be dealt with during the session.
First of all, in May of 2011, the United Nations Decade for Road Safety was launched, and Dominica was part of that launching. We had both the international launch and the local launch of that decade for road safety. And one of the recommendations coming out from the United Nations was that all countries would adapt the recommendations that were suggested for the decade 2011 to 2020.
Ms. Samuel said Dominica decided to be part of the initiative to protect pedestrians because when surveys for the period 2000 to 2009 were done on the road fatalities, it was recognized that there was a problem that needed addressing. She said although the focus this year is on pedestrian safety, tomorrow's workshop is to finalize the law frames that were established since 2011. At this workshop, a plan of action will be put in place for the next 10 years.
So really and truly tomorrow, we hope that we can have finalization plans from all the stakeholders. We have people from the fire service, the police, the insurance companies. We have the automobile industry, the people who import automobiles to Dominica, customs, we have the media. So it's really a stakeholder consultation, and of course health. We hope that we can get the law frames finalized so that we can move ahead to have that plan of action in place for the decade.
Ms. Samuel said the enforcement of certain legislations, road infrastructure, parking, and the types of automobiles that are imported are all areas to be addressed. Another area to which attention will be paid is post-crash responses.
So whenever there is a road traffic collision, what kind of response? Who are the first responders? Are they trained? Is there emergency equipment that is adequate for the emergency services? When they get to the A&E department, what kind of interventions are there? So that's one of the pillars that we will also be looking at. Dominica is actually looking at all the 5 pillars, but like we said, this year, because the focus for the UN is on pedestrian safety, so for the week, we have been focusing on that.
The health educator applauded authorities for the improvement of the infrastructural development over the years, namely the reflectors, signs, and the sidewalks. This has been the local segment of the news. Coming up next, regional highlights. SAT Telecommunications Limited is celebrating with mothers from Saturday, May 4th to Saturday, May 11th. All mothers applying for any of SAT services will receive a free installation. All applicants will be eligible to enter into SAT's draw for a Mother's Day gift basket compliments SAT Telecoms. Please call or visit any of SAT offices for more information. Special terms and conditions apply. Remember, SAT Telecoms is the people's choice and SATnet a better choice. Happy Mother's Day from SAT Telecommunications Limited.